I don't know what to tell everybody anymore. Like, I've been saying this since he took office. When you allow Republicans to control the courts, you get nothing. Trump judges do not believe in the rule of law. They do not believe in precedent, do not believe in facts. They do not believe in logic. They just believe in whatever is going to help Donald Trump. And they've proven it again and again and again. So when I say that you cannot trust Trump judges, I don't know what more evidence you need for that fact, right? Like, look, the argument that he has executive privilege is so what the scientists would call stupid that it's difficult to explain it, right? Like the idea that, first of all, privilege goes to the current president. We only have one president at a time. Right. So it's not Trump's privilege to have. But even if it was, as you pointed out with Bill Barr, who believes that the executive of the United States is something closer to a king than a president, even Bill Barr says that if he had a privilege, that privilege still goes with the government, not with Trump. And so these documents belong in the archives. It'd be like if Trump's called for executive privilege over the plane and then parked the plane, Air Force One, at Mar-a-Lago. Can't do that. Even if it was his, we'd have the right to take it back. But when you allow Trump judges to infect the system, these are the kinds of decisions you get. And people, and this is my last point, people in the media need to stop standing for these Trump judges, need to stop pretending that these Trump judges are like the rest of the judicial system, right? They have to stop carrying water for them and start calling them out as they are, corrupt, leave behind gifts from the Trump administration to destroy the rule of law in America.
So that's Ellie Mistel. I just want to add to that the idea that this loose cannon, this Aileen loose cannon, who was appointed by Donald Trump, okay, she was a Trump pick. She wasn't confirmed until 9 days after the insurrection by the Republican Senate to sit on a federal court down here in Florida. Okay, he went shopping. He went shopping for a judge that he has in his pocket, and she's one of the judges that he has in his pocket. I just want to explain to her that she said the weirdest crap in this decision. She said that executive privilege may still be a residual effect that Donald Trump enjoys. It makes no sense because we do have rulings on executive privilege in the Nixon case in 74. We have another one in 77 saying, no, we have one president at a time and the current president has executive privilege, no one else, right? So there's that. But also, she's saying that the intelligence community, which is part of the executive branch, can continue their investigation, but the Department of Justice, which is part of the executive branch, cannot. How in the world does that work in her head? So the intelligence community that's part of the executive branch, they can continue. Because Donald Trump has executive privilege that might be residual. But the executive portion of the government that is overseeing a criminal and national security investigation into Donald Trump, they can't continue. What? See, it makes no sense. And every single lawyer that looked at this said here's a great quote. This is a guy who is a Duke University law professor, Samuel Buell. These are not liberal people. He said, to any lawyer with serious federal criminal court experience who's being honest, this ruling is laughably bad, and the written justification is even flimsier. Donald Trump is getting something no one else ever gets in federal court, and he's getting it for no good reason. And it will not in the slightest reduce the ongoing howls that he is being persecuted when he is being privileged. Another lawyer said, I find that deeply problematic, emphasizing that the criminal justice system is supposed to treat everyone equally. The court is giving special considerations to the former president that ordinary everyday citizens do not get. Now, just to put it in perspective, let's say they raided your house, okay? And they picked up some, drugs, hard drugs, okay? Imagine whatever, cocaine, heroin, whatever you want to imagine. And so they photograph it, right? They put it on the floor of your house. They put the exhibit markers next to the actual evidence. They take photos of it. And then they collect the evidence. They take it out of your house. And then they present it to a court and you're on trial. Can you imagine if you had the ability to say to another court, I want a special master. I don't trust what the police took from my house was actually in my house. I think that they planted it in my house, and I want a special master to review my criminal case. First of all, as far as the executive privilege claim, which is bizarre, goes, you all know, because you're smart, you all know that there's a crime fraud exception to any privilege, attorney-client privilege, executive privilege, right? There is no shield between you and a criminal attorney who are plotting and planning criminal activity. And the same applies to the President of the United States. There is no shield for the President of the United States if he is discussing with a White House counsel or a White House staffer or somebody, his daughter that he put in the White House or his son-in-law that he put in the White House. There is no executive privilege if they are talking about committing crimes. That's called the crime fraud exception. There is no privilege for crime. It's the way our system was set up to protect us from criminals. So this judge obviously made a very strange decision. She said, that the special master, and we don't even know who that would be. What is it going to be? Michael Flynn, Steve Bannon, Rudy Giuliani. Who's going to be the special master? John Eastman, Sidney Powell. Who are they going to accept? Now, here's the situation with DOJ. DOJ, as I said, is part of the executive branch. So is the intelligence community part of the executive branch. So she's saying that one part of the executive branch can continue their work and another part of the executive branch cannot, which is bizarre, because the president might have executive privilege. It's ridiculous. So the Department of Justice can appeal this. They can appeal her decision. But they would then end up in the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals in Atlanta, where 6 of the 11 judges are Trump appointed. And we could take it all the way to the United States Supreme Court. Oh. See what I mean? This is how you break America from within. This is how you destroy it from within. Now, the only reason why he's doing this is to delay. Just to delay, because that's what he does every time he's sued. That's what he does every single time he has some sort of a monetary case, a civil suit. He delays, and 5 years later, right? 5 years later. But remember what happened to Michael Cohen, okay? Hey, Michael Cohen could be the special master. No, I mean, I don't know who it would be. I honestly don't, but it would have to be somebody with a very high security clearance. It would have to be somebody who can view these documents. I honestly, I have no idea. But this is totally a radical path. There was a reasonable path that she could have taken. She could have just appointed somebody to, look for attorney-client privilege. But no, she went to the executive too. Don't have time to listen to the live show? Want to hear more on your schedule? Go to randyrhodes.com and buy a stinking podcast.